Okay, we've got a package in the mail now. This is kind of like going back in time a little bit for me. Back, I think it was the year 2017, I had just started making jaw harps, and I had just gotten to where I could make a harp, make sound consistently, and I sold 4 or 5 of them to someone, I think it was in Canada, and then recently they said they had 200 to 300 jaw harps in their collection. They were looking to get rid of some harps. Am I interested in any harps that they're selling? And they decided not to sell any more harps. And I'm like, ooh, do you still have those harps that I made for you way back when? It's 2025 now, and I think those harps were made in 2017. So let's see what going back in time looks like. I was able to make harps. I don't know, or at the time I didn't know what I know now on harp making. So let's see what we come up with here. I have a plate. I'm going to be putting them on. I'm going to take them upstairs. I'm going to wash these. So one of your best bets for getting harps clean when you get them in the mail is warm soapy water. Oh yeah, 17. Okay, so at the time I was making harps. I was making the old hollow bone frame shape. It was my 3rd frame shape I was trying. And I was doing strips of hardwood and then cutting some notches in them or cutting some lines in them and then wood burning it. So Kansas, USA. Bebb. Like it's in Bebb Corp Harpery. And I am going to be washing these. I'm seeing the gaps on these. They're okay. Compression's not horrible. This is my old, kind of the predecessor to the squished teardrop shape. That one's going to be a little bit higher pitched. I think all these I was making out of 1075. Well, that's bassier. And my way of decorating them, I didn't have an engraver, so I was cutting and doing some notching on the frame. Oh, that I did with an engraver. So I did have an engraver at the time, but I was also using different files. Cut these out. It's going to be fun. It's like going back in time. Like, ooh, I want to get these back, have them in the collection, see what I was making back then. First off, when I was really getting into jaw harps, I was making some jaw harps too, and then I ended up having to pay for a shipment of jaw harps, and I'm like, ooh, I'd made 5 harps. Somebody asked me, hey, do you sell your harps? I'm like, yeah, I have 5 available. Like, oh, I'll buy all 5 of them. Like, oh, cool. And this is before my quality was really good, or where it is now. I still have room for growth. Oh yeah, this is when I was laying them out in different lengths, and I'd do kind of what I'd call a flight. I would do harps in different lengths. Oh, there we go. There's the gaps. The compression is, it's okay. Kind of a squishy. More mid-rangey, saturated, fuzzy. Here's another one. Oh, I was tuning. Oh, some of these I was tuning. C sharp. Okay, and I was doing some. Oh yeah, I was doing some like themes. I kind of like did some art on there. Okay. I can't believe I labeled these as tuned. D 2 sharps is higher pitch, shorter. Compresses readily on one side more than the other. Oh my gosh, are there like 6 harps here? 1, 2, 3, 4. Easy opening package. Thank you, my friend who shipped these back and made them so easy to unbox. There's 6 there. Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm glad he kept the original wood blocks too. Kansas, USA. There's one in D. Looks like I did a lot of filing there. Imagine these aren't going to have the same bell ring of the harps I make now. Oh, wait. That compression's good. There's a slight relief. Okay, cool. Oh, there's the beginning. This is when I was just getting into teardrop shapes, but like as I was making my trigger shapes, I didn't have a lot of control over it. I was just kind of bending the metal, and however it turned out. But yeah, for a while I was doing the squish. Yeah, the most predominant squishy. Okay, let's go upstairs. Let's go ahead. We're going to wash these off with soap and water. Let's see what we got. Okay, we're up here. We got some soap, some just plain dish soap. I have dissolved in water so I can squirt it. And I have a faucet. We have a drying towel, or I'm just using a washcloth that's dry. And then we have a wet washcloth. So let's get these washed off. I'm going to use warm water. I'm not going to use hot water, almost lukewarm. A little bit warmer than I am. Give it a squirt. Dish soap. I'm going to rub it with my fingers, get it all in there. I've used a washcloth. I've used paper towels in the past. I'm trying to cut down on using paper products, stuff from trees. And here's what we're going to do. I don't feel that soap is getting the oil off properly, so we're going to use something a little bit more aggressive. I don't normally wash my dishes with Dawn dish soap, but this time I'm using Dawn dish soap. The Dawn dish soap tends to dry my hands off, but I found it the best for cutting oil and grease and grime. And I'm not paid to say that. Dawn dish soap is a powerful oil breaker or dissolver. It's been a while. These have been in the box for a while. They've been waiting for me to open them up. And that olive oil, I think you put olive oil on there. The olive oil kind of got really sticky, really tacky, as olive oil is set to do. And my kitchen faucet, the hot and the cold doesn't end up mixing very well, so I'm just going to wash these off good. Give it a little shake to get all the rest of the water off there, and then we'll dry it off. This harp's ready for my mouth. Oh wow, I forgot I did some discolorations on the harp. These harps were all baked in my oven to temper them. I used to bake them in the oven. I don't tend to do that anymore. I leave my harps. I don't do any heat coloring or tempering anymore, but this is what baking them in the oven, gradually getting warmer and warmer until I think I hit 250. I don't remember. Wish I had written down all that down. Oh, there's some cool designs on there. I think I was thinking elephant when I did those designs on there. It's hard to beat the Dawn dish soap for getting sticky things unsticky. Because that's one reason I don't use, in general, on my harps olive oil, because olive oil tends to get sticky. I like coconut oil. It tends to stay a little bit thinner. I only got the right temperature of water coming out. Shake, 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 shake. Get a little dry. Was tuning. I think I had started tuning harps. Waylon Harmon told me a method of tuning. C2 sharp. This could be a long unboxing. I used to use those sponges, those colored sponges for dishes. I don't use them anymore. What I found out is that those scratchy sponges and those sponges, as they deteriorate, they just release a whole bunch of microplastics all over your food. So I just went back to just plain old, nothing seems to work better than a scrub brush and also a washcloth and a drying towel. Some things just can't be perfected upon. They came out with those sponges and they seem like they're great, but they're really not healthy for you. Ooh, that has a long embouchure in the harp. Oh, that's .020 spring steel, 1075, I think. Most of all my builds now are 1095. Every once in a while I'll do one in 1075. 1075, it's a little bit more forgiving when you get a little bit thicker of a Jaw Harp reed, whereas the 1095 is fiery, it's a lot harder. Yeah, the 1075 had a buttery feel to them. Looks like I was doing my reeds a little bit thinner. I didn't realize that I had sold him 6 harps. But yeah, it helped pay for my first good big order of harps, or helped pay toward that. So I was like, yes, I will sell all the 6 of these harps. But I'm glad to have them back in the collection. And do you like the long unboxings? Would you like it if I shortened it up? I think overall, every single vote in the comments has been toward the longer format unboxings. I've been shooting some shorts and stuff, but I'm getting back into putting longer format out, and more than just unboxings. I'm going to be working on a harp build this afternoon. I'm excited for that. I'm just going to basically get it bent up. Yeah, the tips, the way I do the tips of the harps, really hasn't changed much since then. I think at one point in time I was rounding them. I like the faceted look. Old fuzzy harp. I'm betting these harps have been in storage for a long time. They still feel kind of tacky from having olive oil sit on them and oxidize. I think doesn't oil oxidize over time? Okay, we've got a mess of harps dried. Let's head downstairs and get an ear on these. I did play one a little bit. I'm expecting them to be fuzzy and saturated. Some might be clean. I was just, as a beginner maker, it's a challenge to get harps that sound clean and get your planes all straight. So let's just go downstairs, let's see what we got, and let's see what the harps from 17 were like. Okay, we're going to be comparing the harps. I'm going to start off with playing the highest ones, and then I'm going to compare them to more recent works. And these are harps of me as very much a beginner, so I'm expecting some fuzzier tones, some issues with sustain, but hopefully fun harps to play. Let's see where we're at with this. This is the F2 sharp. Pretty fast, fuzzy decay. But it is accurately tuned to note. There's F2 440. Good play in both directions. I think that's one thing I was stressing at the time. Even if I can't get the tone, the bell ring absolutely perfect, I can get to where they throw evenly. Yeah, welcome back to the collection, F2 Sharp. I'm seeing the gaps are okay. Compression is definitely more on one side. You can see this side's touching first. Let's compare it to a harp around F2. Here's a harp around F2 Sharp. I think it's about 40 cents above. This is one of my more recent. When did I make this? 23. So I was made 11/1 of 23. So this is a harp from 2 years ago, untuned for my personal collection. Let's see where the bell rings out on it compared to the F2 Sharp. There's from 2017. Definitely stronger sound, a little bit longer sustain. Yeah, much better. Well, I'm going hoarse today. Much better sound of the 23. Let's try this one. I'd say the sound of my more recent harp is definitely better. The gaps are better. Compression's better. Okay. The gaps are definitely tighter and more consistent. But one thing I would say about the harp from 2017, it plays a lot easier in both directions. Yeah, so I think at the time I was definitely stressing the thing that I could stress, which was making harps that would play easily. So let's hit up a different harp and compare it to something similar if I have anything that is similar, because I did switch in frame shape too. Let's see, we have, this is another short, this is the same length. Well, it's just barely longer. We have F2 sharp and then we have D2 sharp. Gaps are okay. The bigger on one side, and then on this side here, you'll notice it touches first. I wonder how my trigger shape. Yeah, on my modern harps, my trigger height is about the same. See, D2 sharp. Definitely fuzzy. A lot of fuzz in the decay. Accurately tuned to note, E2 flat or D2 sharp. Not as well on the outward stroke. I think it's got a slight recurve in it without enough weight over the tip. A little bit of a draw start to it as well. Let's see what our next size is. Well, definitely fuzzier than some of my new stuff. Let's try this one. Here we come up a little bit in length. And this one's labeled D2. There's some cool discolorations up and down the reed. Ooh, this one might have better tone. Let's see here. D2, accurately tuned to note. Bell ring is definitely stronger on this one. So it's like wash, 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 wash. Very, very easy to play. There's the old teardrop shape. The gaps on it, gaps aren't bad. I'm touching at this tip first, and then this inside bend down here is touching. So I didn't have the control over how the harp turned out. That's why I went to like a 4-bend pattern. I have more control in being able to adjust this one especially. Let's try this D2 here that I made in 2017. And we'll compare it to a D2 that I made for my personal collection in 2020, so 3 years later. Definitely much, much cleaner. It's probably the cleanest D2 I've ever made that I've kept for my collection. Sustain. Lower volume, a little bit fuzzier. But actually, it wasn't bad for what I knew how to do in 2017. Got a cool little design on there. Kind of scratchy in the breath. 2020. So yeah, and let's see, how does length compare? My 2020 D2s are definitely just a touch longer. Let's oil everything back off, and we'll keep coming down. I think we got 3 harps left. Oh my gosh, I have multiple harps in D2. Okay, I'm so glad I was labeling at the time. Here is a longer harp, as a thinner reed with more of a recurve. You can see I actually made a mistake right here in the bend. It bent and I bent it back. And oh yes, you can see I was trying to grind the tip of that, and I ground into the reed there. That could be a weak spot at some point. It could break there. But let's see how it plays. 1075 is really, really durable spring steel. My gaps are not bad. They touch at the tips more. I'm wider at the back here and closer up at the front. That was me clearing a notification. My phone's like, oh, make this jaw harp video. Let's try this D2. It has a good feel to it. A lot of fuzz. There are some clean aspects in it, almost like carnival-like. I actually quite enjoy how that plays. It's the longest of the D2s. I think this is probably, it's still a little bit shorter than my most modern D2. A little bit less snap because it is a thinner, softer reed. The 1075, I think, has hardness of around 44, 45 Rockwell. And the 1095 that I currently use has a Rockwell of around 50. So got a little bit more snap to it. But this one, of all the 1, 2, 3, 4 I've played so far, this has been my favorite. And also, as you come up in pitch, your higher pitch harps, that saturation, any place you're off in the harp is going to be more apparent as you go down and get bassier and bassier. It's easier to cover up fuzziness. Okay, this next one, oh, that's the C2 sharp. And it looks like I'm a little bit shorter in the trigger than some of the other ones. That one's a little longer. So it looks like I was varying a little bit. Now I have a little bit more control over how tall my triggers go. Fuzzy, but it's not as apparent as it is in the higher pitch harps. 13 cents below C2 sharp. A little bit more slidey. That's why I made a lot more harps from the mid-range on down bassy harps. It was easier to cover up the fuzziness of the harp. Gaps are not bad on this. Okay compression. I'm a little bit bigger on this side. One more harp. We got the longest of the harps, which it might be the bassiest, but some of these longer harps I was making at the time, I was doing a lot of experimentation, seeing where harps come out. Let's see if it's longer than my D2. Let's see what the note is on this. B. A B. So it's a little bit longer than my B2. See if I have a modern B2 from, what is this, 2022 maybe? 22. Here's my modern B2 Jaw Harp Johnson versus the old hollow bone, which is, the hollow bone's slightly longer. And I see that similar trigger height. I got the most pronounced teardrop here, but also less weight. Here I have a little bit of a curl at the trigger shape. Let's play the 2017 B2. Touch of fuzz, probably the cleanest playing of all of them. Longest sustain in lower pitched harps. It's easier to get long sustain, especially since you have a longer reed. Ooh, I kind of like that one. Man, that's really mutable. Not bad sound. It's not super loud. Easy to play in and out. That trigger shape really lends itself well to that, because even if you overstrike it, you can slide down and just slide right off. Let's compare it to my modern B2. Actually, this isn't a, I'm sorry, not B2, B1. This is an A1 sharp. That's not too bad. I like that one. That's my more modern one. Let's compare it, but this is an A1 sharp. So let's go back. I think I have a harp around B1 here. I'm actually 49 cents below a B1, but we'll just, for comparison's sake, here's a harp around B1. More modern. I think this was 1024 of 2020. And here was 3 years prior. Harp around the same. And this one's actually lower. The newer one's lower. And it's a touch shorter. Let's see, compare the triggers here. Trigger is a little bit smaller on the 2020 harp. Gaps are definitely tighter. Almost even compression, but not quite there yet. Let's play the 2017 and then the 2020. 2017. Yeah, very, very easy to play. Very, very easy to whip in both directions. One person, when I brought my harps to the 2017 or 2018 North American Jaw Harp Festival, I think it was 2017, I brought some harps for sale, and one person really, really liked how they can be played in both directions. Here's the 2020. Much better bell ring. 2017. 2020. And this is two different steels. This is 1095.025, and I think this is 1075. Yeah, definitely much snappier with the 95. And I'd say the 2020, not as easy to play in both directions. I'd really gotten away from, especially for a while, any type of outward play or bouncing. I was mainly concentrating on plucking in one direction and open close at the time. So yeah, I'd say the 2017 harps were not super clean, but fun to play and more easily play in both directions. Anyways, we're going to wrap it up with that. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more harpery. Make sure to keep your arms clean, keep them dry, keep them old. But most of all, be good to each other. And comment below, what do you want to see in a jaw harp video? What harps do you want to see unboxed? What harps do you want to see repaired? What are your questions on the jaw harp? I love y'all. Harp out. Yeah, the old harps, they were really fun to play. Not the loudest, not the cleanest, but definitely bouncy. Yeah.